Happy New Year's, guys. I'm going to vamp for a little bit to make sure the broadcast is going, but I hope that you all can see that we're going live. My name is Casey Durango. Excuse me for that. Let me put some things on mute. My name is Casey Durango. I talk about how I've lost 97.4 pounds on the ketogenic diet. And I like to talk with other people about how they may be able to lose weight and improve their health and regain control of their lives. This is a live broadcast. I don't do YouTube Live very much anymore. I tend to reserve the bulk of my content for patrons. I do want to give a plug to the wonderful people who are so supportive of each other and of me at patreon.com. That's Patreon, patreon.com/GoKeto with KC. There's a lot more content for patrons only. But I thought today might be a good day. It's January 1st. It's a Monday. It's everybody's favorite time for getting started again. So I wanted to talk about, take this opportunity to, there might be people here for the first time where they're just, they just heard about this New Year's resolutions. Excuse me, clock's going off. If you're new to Go Keto with Casey, there are clocks in my house and they keep me company. So some people are, you can see all the ads for Gold's Gym and Weight Watchers and everything. They're pushing pretty heavy to the goal. So let me just give a quick little primer about what keto means. What's the word keto? It's short for ketogenic. A ketogenic diet is simply one where you reduce your carbohydrate intake to the point where your liver is not producing glucose, which your body is, if you've been eating carbs, will have been using for fuel. Your body will burn off of glucose or ketones, fat. It's not an absolute either or, but it's pretty much predominantly either glucose or ketones. So your liver stops producing glucose to the point where your body switches over to mobilizing fat for fuel, which it's great at. It's a great fuel source. And that's all that means. You are burning ketone bodies for fuel, which is mobilized from fat. That's all that means. So how many carbs should I eat, you might ask? 20 grams or fewer a day. What is a carb, you might ask? It's more complex than this, but I like to keep things simple. Essentially, a carbohydrate is a nutrient that is derived from something other than animal, from either animal flesh or something produced by an animal. So vegetables, fruit, grains, seeds, berries, they're all carbs. And I'm going to tell you something. It doesn't really matter whether it's highly refined or in its raw state. By the time your liver's done with those carbohydrates through this very complex mechanism that our bodies have been following for millennia, it all comes out as simple sugar. Now, a Snickers bar will probably have a bigger effect on your energy level and spazzing out than a piece of Ezekiel bread. But it's all going to come out as simple sugar from your liver, which is going to induce an insulin reaction from your pancreas, which is what the pancreas is supposed to do. So anything that's not an animal product, pretty much, is a carb. And there are trace amounts of carbohydrate in some animal products. An egg might have half a gram of carbs. But essentially, meat and protein really don't have carbs, essentially. So what do? You keep, what's a carb? It's anything other than an animal product. What's 20 grams look like? That's a tricky one because we don't know what a gram of carbohydrate looks like. Unlike a pound of butter, we know what that looks like because it comes that way. 20 grams is you'd measure the amount of vegetables, and there's a certain amount of carbs per the amount of vegetables. A very easy rule of thumb is this. Maximum, eat non-starchy vegetables about the size of your own fist, maximum per day, and leafy greens the size of about 2 of your fists, maximum. FYI, you don't have to eat any. Carbohydrate is not an essential nutrient. Another common misunderstanding. It's just simply incorrect. So what do? You eat animal product. You eat meat and fowl and fish. And if you can tolerate dairy, you eat cheese, full fat. Don't eat anything that says low fat, because if they take out the fat, they have to replace it with sugar. And if you want vegetables, just you're going to eat a maximum amount of vegetables, but you don't have to. And sorry, no fruit. Berries, which are a little bit different, in very limited quantities, but no fruit. Fruit is nature's candy. As a world-renowned expert has said many times, it's sugar. And that's how you do the ketogenic diet. You eat only when you're hungry, and you stop when you're satisfied. If you were just new to this and you're scoping it out and you were investigating, you will almost certainly come across a lot of weird information. A lot of misinformation. Let me predict what you will find, or maybe you already have found. Either websites or books or online personalities or YouTube channels that talk about the M word, which is what I call it. And you'll see a pie chart where it talks about 5% of your calories should come from carbohydrates. That's inaccurate. And then another percent from protein and another percent from fat. It's not a percentage of carbohydrates. It's a hard number, 20 grams or fewer a day. So how do you know what a carb is? Hold, please. You don't need any tools or devices to follow this, but I found some tools that I used that I really like because I had to educate myself. OXO food scale. I like it. It measures in grams and ounces and measures up to 11 pounds. And I had to educate myself on what the proper proportion of non-starchy vegetables was, because I would eat a half a plate of broccoli. Think, broccolis are free food. You can eat all you want. No. Way too much broccoli. So I would just measure it. And then I got an eye for it. But really the simplest thing is about the size of your fist, about the size of 2 fists or less. You don't need to measure for whether you're in ketosis. Being in ketosis means your body has switched over from burning sugar for fuel to burning fat for fuel. I do measure because I like data and I wanted to know. So I started out using the urine test strips. You will undoubtedly hear, those are useless, throw them away, chuck them out. Not exactly accurate. They're very useful. They're inexpensive. I would show you some, but we don't have any. My husband took some to his family members in Colombia last time he traveled. My lovely meat. So I need to get some more, but I don't need to test very often. I'm always in ketosis. There is a blood meter, which I do recommend. Hold, please. Hold, please. Hold, please. Hold, please. Again, you don't need to measure. And I started out using a Precision Extra blood meter, but this is a new product. I really like it. It's got some advantages over the Precision, not the least of which these strips are very affordable compared to what they were from Abbott Labs for this strips. Again, you don't have to measure. This one will measure beta hydroxybutyrate, which is a byproduct of burning ketones for fuel. The urine strips test acetoacetate, which is another byproduct of burning ketones for fuel. Contrary to popular belief, they're not measuring ketones. They're measuring the byproduct of burning ketones. There are links to these things below. So you don't need to worry about percentages. If those fall into place, that's just made up. You'll end up eating those percentages if you keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer a day. Eat fatty sources of protein and eat only when hungry. You'll end up eating that pie chart. That's the way it works. The pie chart was a result of doing this, not as mandated. Okay, Linda, hi. You know what? You don't have to eat vegetables every day. He has contradicted himself. He's corrected it, not corrected. When he put this out, keep in mind, it was not for public consumption at that time. And you could get voted off the medical island if you told people they didn't eat vegetables. So you don't have to eat vegetables every day. And I don't. Yes, and thank you, Jean. Hey, Jean. You don't have to weigh yourself if you don't want to. I weigh every day. But that serves my purpose. You don't have to weigh. You'll know. You'll know because, for one thing, you are going to start feeling better if you do this correctly. It's total carbs, not net carbs. There's no fake baked goods on this protocol if you do it the way I did it. Do it the way you like and what works for you. But as I say, don't blame keto for what the net carbs did. Don't blame keto for what the almond flour did. I receive many messages every day from many sources, questions, direct messages through my blog, through YouTube, through the Facebook groups. I have a Facebook page, Go Keto with Casey, and there's a large Facebook group, Keto After 40 with Casey, that I manage by myself. So I get a lot of messages. And people will say, I don't understand. I'm doing everything correctly. I'm keeping it to 20 net carbs a day. I am getting 80% of my calories from fat. I'm getting in all of my fat grams. I'm doing the bulletproof coffee. Why is it not working? And I have to gently say, your answer lies within your question. There is just nothing in this protocol that calls for drinking oil. There's nothing in this protocol that says take out fiber grams from your carbs. There's nothing in the protocol that says you must get in a minimum number of grams of fat. That's just ludicrous. So keep it simple. There's very little math involved here. About a cup of veggies, if you want them. About 2 cups of leafy greens, if you want them. The rest, if you love bacon, eat bacon. Hey, I get people asking, I want to do this diet, but I don't like bacon. What can I do? Don't eat bacon. Don't eat if you're not hungry. People say, I don't like eggs. Don't eat eggs. What am I going to have for breakfast if I don't have eggs and bacon? I don't know, have roast beef. You know, think outside the box, literally outside the box. So I want to drive this home again. This is really quite simple. Keep your carbohydrate intake to 20 grams or fewer a day. Eat fatty sources of protein. What does that mean? Eat the fat that naturally comes with your protein choices. Eat the skin with the chicken. Eat fat with the pork chop. Eat bacon with the fat. Eat lamb with the fat. Eat yolks with the eggs. If you're going to have dairy, and it's not unlimited just because it's allowed, it's not unlimited. You know, a couple of ounces of full fat cheese a day, so, you know, tablespoon or so of mayonnaise. I mean, there's lots of things that the added fats are something you don't want to go crazy with. Because, why is that? Well, because all this diet means is that your body's burning fat for fuel. That's all it means. if you're consuming all the energy through fat that your body needs for the day, it's not going to burn your onboard reserves. Think about it. Why would it? So there's no minimum grams of fat. Protein tends to be kind of self-regulating. And I'm distracted because I am seeing comments, and I really appreciate you guys speaking with each other and answering each other's questions. Astrid Cruz, sucralose, sorry, I eat it all the time. Not in everything. I don't eat sweet things, but it's in this coffee. This whole artificial sweetener thing, sucralose, I just don't trust any reports that have come out, because the sugar industry is as bad as the tobacco industry, and they've gotten their fingers into a lot of reports. I'm not worried about it. See, you do what you want to do, but don't make sweeping generality statements for anybody, including me. Nor will I. You do what you want to do. We've tried all the other non-sugar sweeteners. We like this one the best. The rest is bitter to us. Okay, LG, new to keto, working through the flu. Thoughts or advice? Yes. Some people, can feel kind of either headachy, kind of cruddy, lethargic, fingers tingling. You just feel like you have the flu. And it's commonly referred to as the keto flu. It used to be called the Atkins flu. And people think, oh, just don't get in some carbs. That'll make me better. No. It's not the carbs that your body's missing. It is probably electrolytes, which also you don't have to drink separately. When you start this, before you even notice that you're losing weight, your kidneys can flush a lot of water. With water goes sodium. With sodium, if your sodium comes out, your blood volume is decreased, and you can feel kind of low blood pressure. And also, they are electrolytes, so the sodium brings along with it, when it goes away, magnesium and potassium and calcium. If you up your sodium, it sounds counterintuitive, up your sodium a bit, and that will help regulate everything. Your blood volume will increase just a bit, and you won't feel so lethargic. So an easy way to do it is to get a Knorr bouillon cube, which is about 1 gram of sodium, the ones that we get, the big ones, and drink some nice warm bouillon. Okay, I am going to say something else, and I'm going to keep this short because people have busy lives. If you're new to this, or maybe you've been doing it for a while, and you're going to see a lot, please be very cautious with your sources, whom you trust for sources of information. Doctors Eric Westman, Stephen Finney, and Jeff Volek, the triumvirate of experts on this. A book that I still refer to, The Art and Science of Low Carbohydrate Living by Doctors Finney and Volek, tells you the science. Explains it in a way that, it's a little sciencey, but it explains it in a way that it just made sense to me. So, but please, if you are listening to folks who maybe sound like they really are experts, if at some point they're suggesting that you ingest products to help get you into ketosis or raise your ketone level, please take that literally with a grain of salt and ask yourself, why are they trying to sell me this? There is not one thing you need to purchase other than good food to be successful. How did I start? I started one day, watched a video of Dr. Eric Westman. It made sense to me. He said, keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer a day. If it's not on this food list, don't eat it. And eat only when you're hungry. I said, that makes sense to me. I wasn't even trying to lose weight. I'd given up. I'd been very heavy for 30 years. I'd given up. I just didn't want to take insulin for diabetes, which was looming. And I said, well, so how did I start? Well, the next meal, so I can, 0 grams of carbs, fewer than 20. I can do that. So the next meal I ate, I just left off the carbs. That was it. It was later that I got the testing strips because I was curious. I was starting to have success and it just piqued my interest. I like data. But you don't need to purchase anything, and you certainly don't need to take oils and powders and smoothies and pills to substitute for the good food. You don't need to buy anything. Now, that said, I will happily sell you an insulated grocery tote that says this bag is a carb-free zone. Go keto with Casey. But those are fun products that just kind of help me keep the computer going, if you know what I'm saying. But you don't need to ingest anything. And someone who tells you, try this, really just ask yourself why, when it's really just food. This is the way humans ate for 70 million years. In the last 10,000 years, we've had agriculture. And that changed things. So, now again, I'm looking because I just want to make sure. Yeah, I'm looking at this. There's some doctors that I find I won't listen to. I mean, I've listened to them and I won't listen anymore. They are sometimes they're hucksters. I'm sorry. It's wherever the latest thing is. So some I'm telling you. Hey, Paula. Finney Volek and Westman is kind of it. I'm looking at some of the questions. Val B writes, my biggest question is cholesterol. I have seen it elevate since I started, but I do not worry because I feel so much better. Glad you're not worried. It is not uncommon. Cholesterol is in every cell of the body, right? Without cholesterol, we die in 10 seconds. We would drop dead. Our bodies need cholesterol in every cell. When you start to mobilize fat for fuel, there are lots of things stored in those fat cells. Hormones, cholesterol, bodies, and there are lots of types of cholesterol, and they're released into the system. So it's not unusual for some cholesterol numbers to go up. But let me tell you what you need to pay attention to is not that overall cholesterol number, which is pointless and lazy of doctors. Sorry, doctors. You want to pay attention to your relationship, your ratio of triglycerides and HDL. Two most important. Ideally, you want the triglycerides to be the same number or lower than the HDL. So if they're both 75, good. If your triglycerides are 300 and your HDL is 47, not good. But this is almost guaranteed to lower your triglycerides, which are inflammatory, and raise your HDL, which is anti-inflammatory. So if you can get your HDL is higher than your triglycerides, you're golden. Someone writes, I stick with Dr. Westman because I need simple. Overcomplicating it just overwhelms me. Me too. Keep it simple. And as Dr. Westman has said, I can pretty much guarantee this program will work. I just can't guarantee you'll follow it. If you're weight loss expert that you listen to, just if you question, are you following the program? Because it doesn't look like you might be following the program. There is a series of commercials on right now. In God Love Her, the spokesperson for a major company, I'm just not sure she's following their program, or if she is, I'm not sure that program works. So, Karen from Alaska is here. Karen, for those of you who don't know, has been doing this for a really long time. Is it 8 years, Karen? Just past your 8-year anniversary? And she's been at goal for 18 months or 2 years or something? Okay, so I'm going to start to wrap up here in a minute, but I want to cover a couple of things. Don't drink your fat. If I can give a recommendation, if you like it and you can tolerate it and you're good, do it. But if you're struggling, don't drink your fat. Don't worry about all the math. 20 grams of carbohydrate a day or fewer. 0 is fewer than 0. 20. Eat fatty sources of protein. Eat only when you're hungry, which is the biggest challenge, or at least it was for me, because we are so habitual in our eating. Hey, Rhonda. And Casey writes, I'm tactful. Thank you. I'm not sure my kids would agree. Astrid Cruz, what are my thoughts on MCT oil? I think I just said, don't do that. Do it if you like. I don't do it, never have, never will. I don't need to, it's just, it is something, it may or may not get you a positive reading if you're testing with urine strips. But you might as well just take the urine strips and dip them into the MCT oil. Because if you're drinking, the MCT oil stands for medium chain triglyceride, which cannot be stored on the body. Sounds ideal, right? But no, for this diet, it's not ideal. Because since it can't be stored, it must be burned. And your body's going to burn it first. Think of it like this. You have a fire going. And you want to burn some nice, beautifully aged, but no longer wanted hardwood that's been hanging around. Consider the hardwood to be your derriere or your tummy or your chins. And you want to get rid of that. So you build a fire. And you've got you're burning and you got a couple of logs on there. But you really want a hot fire. So you get a fire hose worth of lighter fluid. And you pour it onto the fire nonstop. Your fire will burn beautifully. It just won't ever burn the cord of firewood because you're giving it liquid to burn. So, so I'm going to, that's my thoughts on MCT oil. And for those of you watching this on playback, I apologize for the kind of disjointed. I wish the comments would be visible on playback. I might invest in some software that will allow that. If I'm going to do a Go Keto with Casey roadshow event in Greensboro, North Carolina in March. I'm putting the program together. The bulk of the event will be the 17th of March, St. Patty's Day in Greensboro. It will be, like I said, a ticketed event. I'm trying to keep it as affordable as possible. So I'll get more information about that, and I will let that be known. If you're in the Durham, North Carolina area tomorrow, the Durham Support Group meeting, which I lead, and Dr. Westman is the keynote speaker always. He starts talking at 6:30, and I usually drag him off the stage, although it's not a stage, at about 8. There is a keto-friendly buffet available. You don't have to buy it. It's about $18. It's at the Durham Hilton near Duke. No, it's free. You don't have to pay for that. But do let me know if you're going to come, because I have to give the hotel a head count, and the meetings have gotten pretty busy. Okay, and that's it. And if you want some Go Keto with Casey swag, like I said, insulated grocery bags, coffee mugs, a wine glass that says all I want to do is drink wine and talk about keto. What else have I got? Oh, calendars. I've got a few calendars left, 2018 calendars, but they're just about gone. Okay, you guys. Okay, Michelle Franks, does Dr. Westman talk about the impact of fat on the gallbladder anywhere? I don't know that he has a published lecture on it. It comes up almost every meeting. People say, I've been told I can't do this without a gallbladder. You absolutely can do it without a gallbladder. As a matter of fact, if you go to the Keto After 40 with Casey Facebook group and just do a search on gallbladder, you'll see a bunch of posts that come up, because a lot of folks with no gallbladder do it. People say, I can't do it. I have hypothyroidism. I have hyperthyroidism. I don't have a thyroid. You can do it. I've asked him, because the question about different conditions come up. And so I finally just asked him at one of the meetings. I said, is there any condition which in your experience is the ketogenic diet would be contraindicated. He said, nope, he couldn't think of one. Robin Hatfield, can I cover my coaching? You mean talk about my coaching? I'm happy to do that. And I'll tell you what, okay, great. Excuse me, I'm gonna interrupt myself. Squirrel. Mar 2017 says, I don't have a gallbladder, 60 pounds gone. Great. And if you want to share Mar 2017, if you had to do anything different, please. Oh, Wanda, hey, Wanda, glad you're here. Haven't had a gallbladder for years and I had no problem. So there you go. I do coaching and you can see that at my blog, Go Keto with Casey. CaseyDurango.com, I think, is where you have to go. And then there's a coaching tab. I'll tell you, we almost never talk about the food. I talk to a lot of people, and we almost never talk about food because let me tell you what. It is no more complicated than I've now said 15 times. Keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer a day. Eat fatty sources of protein. Eat only when you're hungry. Stop when you're satiated. It is that simple. Which is not to say it's that easy. We end up talking about family pressures. We end up talking about non-supportive spouses. We talk about in-laws who sabotage, people who scorn, roll their eyes, want to have an intervention because they think you're going to fall out because of cholesterol. People are just snarky and mean. We talk about how our changing bodies have changed the way people relate to us. But anyway, there's the coaching. If you go to CaseyDurango.com, go to the coaching tab. I do video and telephone coaching. It's as much of anything, it's accountability. And I think people like to talk to someone they don't see every day. They don't want to talk to their sister or their coworker or their best friend or their spouse necessarily about something they've struggled with for their lives. They just don't want to talk about it to anybody else. Major Tom, yeah, absolutely. I think I said it before. Could consuming too much liquid fat be the cause of weight loss? Absolutely. Maybe you stepped away. If you have a fire going and you're blasting it with lighter fluid, insert the word MCT oil or butter or coconut oil, whatever you want, your fire will keep going. It'll still be burning, but it won't be burning the cord of firewood you are really wanting to get rid of. Yes. Don't drink your fat. Fat bombs, if they're going to help you be compliant, if you're really feeling shaky about the whole thing, go ahead. If nothing else, just have some more fat. Ideally, not pure fat. Hard-boiled eggs are great. Make some egg salad. Hard-boiled eggs, it's difficult to eat 3 hard-boiled eggs in a tall glass of water and then want to eat anything else for a while. Yes, Jean says she'll be in Durham tomorrow. Mark messaged me through Facebook, so that's great. I can't wait to see you. It's been a long time. I'm glad you're coming. Charlotte M7 asks, how long did it take, Shauna? So Shauna, had a gold 170 today, 157.8 and still losing. That is fantastic. Okay, how fast can you expect to lose on this? Not fast. Faster than you've lost before. I'm getting short with people who post, I'm so depressed. I only lost 5 pounds in 3 days, or I only lost 3 pounds in 5 days, or I only lost 10 pounds this month. What? When was the last time you lost 10 pounds in a month? I had a lot of weight to lose, y'all. I'm 5'1". And I actually weigh about 115 and a half pounds less than I did at my heaviest. So it has a lot of weight on a puny frame. Even needing to lose that much, the first year I lost 47 pounds. Less than, on average, a pound a week. Don't have, stupid expectations. If seeing people's before and after photos make you feel bad, don't look at them. If they inspire you, look at them. Kathy Owen says, oh man, how much did I miss? I don't know. Did you just get here? Because you missed most, because I'm going to hop off here pretty soon. I am going to say something else. My intent is to produce more content everywhere. My patrons are priority because, to be honest, Since I'm not going to be trying to sell supplements or exogenous ketones or pills, and I'm not going to retire off of selling insulated grocery totes, the patrons make it possible for me to do this. I'll be really blunt. I've in the process still of extricating myself from a pretty lucrative career. But this, I feel, is my calling. I feel like this is why I was fat for 30 years. So that I make this change and talk to other people who talk to other people, who get their kids on track, who help their elderly mother feel better, who get off of insulin, who get off their blood pressure meds, who simply feel good about themselves, maybe for the first time since they were 20. And the patrons make it possible for me to do this. So thank you. So you can become a patron for as little as $1 a month. You get patron-only content, and then the more you pledge, the different the rewards are. I do daily little morning snippets for patrons only. That's a wild ride because usually I have no makeup on. I have stupid bedhead. Sometimes I've not even had my first sip of coffee, and so I'm essentially incoherent. But we have a good time, and there's a patron-only forum, which I think is the best deal going. It's for patrons only, and it's very supportive. As I say, it's like Facebook, only it doesn't suck. Hey, Vicky G from Southeast Washington. She's a patron. Hey, Vintage Girls. Happy New Year's from your Vintage Gals down at the gym. How's it going with me at the gym? It's not. My gym is closed for the week. Has been. March 2017 is Patreon on Facebook. No, Patreon is its own website. And I think I have a link to it below this video. But it's patreon.com/GoKeto with Casey. Yeah, who's asked about dates? No fruit. Certainly no dried fruit, because that is not only sugar, it's concentrated sugar. You know, it's like that old episode of the black and white Superman from back in the 50s, and he had a lump of coal, and he took a lump of coal and he squished it, and out came a diamond because he's Superman. That's like what dried fruit is. You know, you take it and you squish it, put it under pressure, and it's nothing but intense sugar. Okay, Robin Hadfield asked, do you suggest journaling food? I suggest you do anything that works as a tool for you. Anything that works. I, at the beginning, did use MyFitnessPal because I needed to educate myself on how many carbs am I eating. If I do eat veggies, which is the only place I get carbs, how much is that? Track this. But then I just learned. But some people, that's good accountability. They look down and say, oh, what did I eat today? So, you know, all you need is a pen and a piece of paper. You don't have to use an app. You don't have to track the M word. Someone tell them what the M word is as far as I'm concerned. Because I'm not going to say it. Intelligent effluvium. See? Y'all are the smartest people on the interwebs. Y'all know this stuff. Intelligent effluvium. Someone must have asked about hair loss. I just answered a direct message. Yes, it happens if you have any stressor to your body, if you've had surgery, if you've had an emotional trauma, if you've gone from eating the way you've always eaten to eating a low-fat diet, you can have that. Any dietary change just disrupts your hair. It is temporary. Now, if you have another issue going on that's not diet related, then that's another issue. But no, it'll pass. Yes, thanks, March 2017. Thank you for not making me say it. Oh, having fun now writes, Happy New Year. Glad I found you just this week. I couldn't hear you. Then I realized my cat ate through my headset. It wasn't carbs. Ooh. Okay, I am going to start to wrap this up. So, and someone said chronometer. Again, if you're in the Durham, North Carolina area tomorrow, I learn something new every day, every meeting. And we've gotten to know each other a little bit. I mean, there's new people all the time, but then you get to see people's progress. It's so amazing. March, save the date if you could make it to Greensboro, North Carolina. I'm hoping to have a Friday evening event. Saturday will be the bulk of the program, Saturday evening, and then Sunday, but people can come and go as they wish. I want to make it as affordable as possible. Body odor and bad breath. Now that's something, if I experienced that, the people around me kept it to themselves. But I have other people talk about it. Yeah, onions have carbs, so be careful. Rule of thumb on vegetables. What's a non-starchy vegetable? Rule of thumb, it's not absolute. If it grows below the ground, it's going to be higher in starch, aka sugar, because its job, a beet's job, a carrot's job, an onion's job below the ground is to store starch for the greens. So as a rule, and it's not that all vegetables that grow above the ground are not starchy, but it's almost guaranteed that if they grow below the ground, they are starchy and will not be on the list of foods that you want to follow. Keep in mind that corn is not a vegetable, it's a grass. Nuts are not on the list. Sorry. So, okay. Thank you guys. I am going to see about doing some more YouTube Live. I do Facebook Live. I'm going to republish my calendar on my blog. It got to be the point, it's just me. I don't have a team or an assistant or anything like that. And this has become a 7-day-a-week, first thing to last thing, every day, which I love. But it got to the point where I was spending more time actually putting entries into the calendar than doing the events. Someone asked cookbook in the future. I'm going to share something with you. Can anyone tell our friends here what kind of cook Casey is? A lazy one. But people really like to, and there are great sources for recipes. Great sources for recipes. And, but I've thought it gets asked enough that I might do something. I might do an ebook. I don't know. I have to play around with it. I'm trying to educate myself on things. But I'll tell you, there won't be any baked goods. I won't be trying to show you how to tart up things, how to make biscuits or faux death by chocolate cakes. I think it's too confusing. And the people with whom I speak, who are the most successful, they just never played. They never played. They stuck to the tenets. 20 grams of carb or fewer a day, fatty sources of protein, eat only when you're hungry, always the hardest part to me. Stop when you're satisfied. Okay? Oh, excuse me, Linda LaRue likes to call me on this. Not Lovely Mate almond cookies. Those are amazing. I do make almond cookies for my lovely mate. I took a recipe and I nudged it a bit. I don't eat them. My lovely mate can tolerate more carbs than I. He's younger than I am. He's a dude. He's muscular. He has a physically demanding job. He'll jump on his bike and ride for 30 miles. He can tolerate it more, but even he has started cutting back on the number of cookies. He's become extremely regimented. So, sorry, my nose is itching. Excuse me. Okay, so everyone, if you're new to the program, words of wisdom. Don't play around. Don't try to, if you're going to tweak anything, don't tweak a recipe so that you can make, a luscious sweet dessert, keto friendly. Stick to it. You can get a copy of the food list at my blog. It's probably a link to it underneath this video. If it's not on that first page, don't eat it. If it is on the first page, just because it's there does not mean it's obligatory. You do not have to eat all the food. So do that. Don't start with the bulletproof coffee. If you are at goal weight and you don't have any more body fat to lose, and it's a meal replacement for you, I might do that. I'm pretty much where I'm going to be. But I don't need to mess around like that because I work from my kitchen. But don't mess around with that stuff. Keep it simple. Do not compare your progress with anyone else's at all. Own every victory. Your weight will not go down in a straight line, period. I don't care who you are. I don't care how compliant you are. My weight always has, and to this day, because I weigh every day and I graph it, I chart it, looks like a polygraph administered to a really bad liar. Your weight's going to go up. You're going to hit a new low. You're going to be so happy, and the next day you're going to go up 2 pounds, and then you're going to cry. Don't do it. Own the new low and remind yourself, hey, that means it works. Hey, that means it works. Your body's going to fluctuate. You didn't go up in weight in a straight line. And it took some of us a good long time to get that heavy. Heavy whipping cream, yes. Can you overuse heavy whipping cream? Yes, absolutely. It's measured. It's not unlimited. 2 tablespoons a day. And Dr. Westman credits me. I think he has said, he said, yeah, you're the one that taught me about the restaurant pour. Where you just go, bleh. No, we measure. My husband made this coffee for me. He measures. And I'm cutting back on my heavy whipping cream from 2 teaspoons to 1 teaspoon in my cup. Okay, I could go on talking all the time. And I would, hey, hello from Ontario, Canada. I finally get to speak with you live. Yay. Oh, by the way, I've had many inquiries about getting calendars and grocery bags to Canada. It's really cost prohibitive. I mean, you just have to pay so much more, but you know, that's what it goes. 2 cents says, no fruits makes me sad. I have a very good friend who said, I just can't do this. If I can't have fruit, I can't. I have fruit every single day. Fruit is her favorite thing. I can't do it. I said, well, this is not the diet for you then. So she started it after some couple of attempts. She went from, there's no way I can do this because I love fruit too much. It's very important to my life. I love fruit. After a couple of weeks, it's like, meh, fruit? I don't need any fruit. I don't even want fruit. Ooh, that fruit is sweet. Your taste buds change too. Had a mixer. Our sons were home with their families, and they like Maker's Mark with ginger ale. So I got diet ginger ale, and I had some. It's really sweet to me now. Even the diet stuff is really sweet to me. Okay, guys. Are your products available to send to Canada despite the extra cost? Yeah, I can send them. I just would have to charge a lot. And I couldn't do it through my little shop on my blog. I think I would have to, like, say, give a donation and then just send a note and say, here's my donation. Here's the product plus the shipping. I think I checked out shipping the calendar, which is very lightweight, but it's an oversized envelope, to Calgary was going to be like $8. That's a lot. I mean, they're cute calendars and all, but I don't really want it that much. Weight will drop eventually. Stick with it. Do not compare. Losing inches and not pounds is a thing. It's a thing. And you know what? Ultimately, when you realize that your hands don't hurt anymore, that your joints are not hurting, that you're not needing a nap at 2:30 in the afternoon, that you wake up one morning and look forward to the day instead of dreading it, all the weight stuff becomes almost irrelevant. It really, I used to say it's like, the weight loss is like gravy. Now I say it's like blue cheese dressing, which of course we can eat, which is fantastic. So is it even more to get to Mexico? I haven't tried that one. So stick with it. Keep it simple. Find somebody to talk to. Find a buddy. Go join us a good support group. There are lots of good Facebook groups. Start a meetup in your town. This is life-changing. And I don't say that lightly. For those of you who are here, whose lives have been almost indescribably changed for the better on keto, even if you're not at the end point yet, if you'll just say, mine. So I'm going to ask, whose lives have been changed indescribably for the better by keto? Just reply mine. I want to see them go by. Vicky, Jenny Suter, Nancy Meadows, Tina G, Lexi, Kathy Owens, Wanda Landers, Mary Beth Springhorn, Mark 27. Okay, I'm going to cry. Look at this. Unbelievable. The names are still going. If you can't see it, and I'm sorry if I'm playback, I don't know how many people have responded, but this is now dozens. Mine. For insomnia, make sure you get adequate magnesium and calcium. Yeah, that's right. 75 pounds so far. Mine, not yet, but only 6 weeks in again. Vintage girls, lots of hearts. Mine. Thank you, Wanda. I didn't change your lives. You changed your lives. Mine, but no inches or weight loss. Just feel so much better. You know, some of us are just have more healing to do from the inside. Imagine you are healing from the inside out. Wow, look at these names coming. Glinda, thank you. Ronald Haynes. Thanks, Ronald. Are you actually a dude, Ronald? I think I've asked you that before. Some of us need to heal more from the inside out. So that has to get done. You know, there's housekeeping to go on. And then you start to see, it's unbelievable. 90 to date with 35 to go. Fantastic. 46 pounds lost since September 10th. Well, if I'm an inspiration, I'm glad that I finally found some old pictures, which were very hard to come by. All right, guys. Off insulin after 23 years. I rest my case. That is victory. Off insulin after 23 years. Hey, Kelly. 3.5 stone gone. We have a lot of folks in the UK and Australia around here. All right, guys. Adios. I really am going to chime off here. I've got a couple of things to do. And I will see about doing some more YouTube Live. Thank you to my wonderful patrons for everything you do for each other and for me. And remember, if I can do this, my friend Cindy says that when I say this, she believes it. If I can do this, you can do this. It's not a line of bull. It's the truth. It was really heavy for 30 years. My children never knew me as anything but heavy. My grown children, my approaching middle-aged children. If I can do this, you can do this. It's never too late. I don't care if you're in your 20s, your 50s, as am I, I'm 59. Karen's, I think she has shared openly, she's 62. There are people here in their 70s. And there's the greatest one I've heard is a woman from Seattle in her 90s. It is never too late. Off light, Lyrica, and statins. Happy New Year's, guys. Happy New Year. Thanks for allowing me in. And I'll see you guys on the flip-flop. See you in the funny papers. Bye.